Believe it or not, there was a dark period in Ridley Scott's career. In the mid-90s, he hit a slump, and his movies were just not performing well at the box office, and they didn't resonate with audiences or critics. However, it was also during this time he directed one of his best and most underrated film, White Squall.
National Weather Service says white squalls are a meteorological phenomenon of the imagination. What do you say to that?
What happened to my ship was not imagined. It was not a dream.
No, it was not. It was a nightmare.
Now, 21 years later, it's just now slowly starting to find its audience, but still it's hard to really find somebody that has seen it or much less heard of it. And it's sad it was so overlooked and overshadowed by bigger movies back in '96. Ridley Scott has said himself and has gone on record as saying it's one of his most favorite films. Critics such as Leonard Maltin have said in the past that this is Ridley Scott's lost masterpiece. White Squall is a true story about a group of preppy high school students who sign aboard the Albatross, which is a ship, in 1960 for their senior year at sea. They sail from South America and back, learning along the way to accept responsibility, humility, to work as a group, and to grow from boys to men. When they are suddenly hit by a major storm that produces a white squall, and then they have to fight for their lives. What was so great about this film is how Scott structured it. It has an old-fashioned feel to it, and during a time when movies are built off of gigantic CGI action set pieces with little to no character arcs or story development, White Squall is a very refreshing example of traditional filmmaking. Ridley Scott's direction and the script takes a fairly simple story and turns it into something endearing and also very terrifying and traumatic. Now, I agree this isn't a perfect movie. It does suffer from some classic cliches, especially towards some of the characters. The movie could have been smarter and more practical in different ways as it establishes its characters and some of the underlying values. But putting that aside, and realizing that this is a true story, the acting from Jeff Bridges and a young Scott Wolf, Ridley Scott's direction, the chemistry between all the characters does pull you into these people's lives and the tragedy that befalls them. Ridley Scott also did something that created terrifying suspense with the storm sequence by having no music, but just a very eerie sound effects along with the crew. You feel you're actually there, and it does make you think, what would you do if this actually happened to you personally? What the film ultimately lacks is quickly forgiven as the film goes on. And what happens in the last scene ties the whole message of the film together, and it's very satisfying. The film is enjoyable for its sheer physical exuberance of its adventure. Again, because of Ridley Scott's brilliant directing, the beautiful cinematography, the acting, the chemistry, and that this is based on a true story, this movie quickly makes it a film of lost cinema.